My name is Meg Milcon and I'm the Senior News Editor for the Queen's Journal. With the Ontario provincial elections around the corner, we're hoping that Queen's students will weigh in about issues that matter most to them in this election.
My name is Allie. I'm a fourth-year political studies student.
My name is Carolyn Messer and I'm a poli-sci student.
I'm Daphne Cohen and I'm in nursing.
I'm Jack Maillet, I'm in engineering.
I've not voted yet because I plan to vote on election day tomorrow.
I haven't yet, but I will.
No, that's okay.
I'm not registered here.
Where are you registered?
Edmonton, Alberta. So
Alright.
I forgot to do it here.
That's okay.
Absolutely. As a recent grad, probably the biggest thing is housing.
Housing prices.
The unhoused crisis.
I would look for a candidate particularly who wants to help the housing market, hopefully take a little bit of stress off of our municipal governments as well.
My rent is like insane.
Just the cost of living is getting insane. Even here in Kingston, I'm from Toronto, there it's like pretty much impossible to live there now. And really all over Canada. So
Healthcare is another big one.
definitely healthcare.
I've seen loved ones kind of go through the stresses of dealing with our emergency systems and how poorly run they are.
Especially as a future healthcare worker, there's a lot of like things we learn about and limitations in the healthcare system that need to be addressed.
I want more like climate conservation for sure. I know Doug Ford was kind of trying to go into the green belt a bit, so I'm not like fully in support of that.
Another is education.
Education.
Specifically under the Conservative government, there were a lot of, like in Ontario, there were a lot of budget cuts with education, which was definitely detrimental in the public education system.
Working on the curriculum, making sure there's money going into teachers and like having them be trained properly, and then at the post-secondary level, maybe like certain things about like student debt.
After the inflation, everything's very expensive, far too expensive.
And aside from that, like, I don't know if this counts as a big one, but obviously country morale right now is huge. So really like a candidate who wants to work for Canada, especially Ontario as, a leading province. I really want someone who's headstrong and will continue to kind of fight for our rights in that sense to differentiate us from the US. I qualify myself as an informed voter. I love to do research into candidates rather than identifying strongly with a specific party or candidate themselves. So I just think it's so valuable to put in the research and not allow outside influences to kind of sway your vote choice, and that's why I like to be politically active.
Honestly, I feel like no change is ever going to happen if you're not talking about it. And I think that if you're talking to your friends about it and it's brought up casually, then it becomes like a less serious thing and more things can be talked about in group settings, and it can just be a conversation that's constantly had, which I think is like a really positive thing. And honestly, the more you talk about it, the more educated you're going to be, and you can learn about other people's perspectives. So I think that's really good, an exciting thing.
I follow more American worldwide politics.
Is there, specific reason why that is?
I find that like America's a lot more like economically relevant in terms of like the world sphere. While Canada, I don't find it as relevant to current events, what's happening in the world. America is definitely central to a lot of different issues.
How about you?
No, very out of it. I don't pay that much attention.
And is there a specific reason why, like...
I don't know, I just never pay attention. Like, I probably should. I know who the Prime Minister is. I think that's pretty solid.
I think that is pretty solid.
The biggest piece of advice I have is to please inform yourselves, educate yourselves. Do not let things like social media sway your vote choice. It is so important that we go into elections, especially important ones like this, with a firm idea of what our current or incumbent candidates have done, what they can improve on, and if any of these new candidates can kind of fill those gaps to your preference.
Get involved, learn about it, learn about the system, learn what things mean, learn who people are. Don't just listen to what your friends say, maybe do some research on your own. Don't listen to what ChatGPT has to say. Do some real research, and honestly, it might take some time, but you'll know more about it after, and you'll know and be happier with your decision on voting after.
Should probably vote.
Yeah.
It's real precious coming from me.
From all the adults in my life, are you voting? And I haven't given thought into it, but definitely be active and be aware of what you're doing, and don't do based on what other people around you are doing. Do your own research and have your own understanding, and listen intuitively as to what you believe is right.
Thank you for tagging along and watching this video. Make sure you're voting by February 27th for the Ontario provincial elections.